Wei of Ouying Studio is responsible for creating one of the most sought after but elusive action figure lines. If you're a fan of 1/18 scale, you're likely to have heard of Joy Toy, Acid Rain, Boss Fight Studio, the Vintage Collection. But what is Planet Green Valley?
Shut up and sit down.
Planet Green Valley is a science fiction concept created by Wei in 2003. He aimed to tell a story set in the future where humankind would migrate to remote planets. In 2015, he envisioned a series of films which included CG animation, but intended to eventually do live action. In 2017, Wei would share the first images for testing of figures in 1/10 scale. However, he would reveal his intention to release the first line of Planet Green Valley figures in 1/18 scale, which he would work on in his spare time. Hey you Skellywags! I recently acquired the latest Planet Green Valley figure, which you can see on the far right in this lineup, and realised I haven't actually done a video on any of the other figures I've got in the line. So today we're going to do an overview, starting with a basic figure on the left. So the basic figure is exactly as it says on the tin. A figure that's quite basic, one of a few design options that you can choose from. Comes with accessories in a bag at random, and so you'll come across a few things that you might not be able to use on this figure that can use on others, and there'll be variations of the different accessories that you can actually get. So this was actually my joint second figure from Planet Green Valley that I acquired in 2021. This is part of the wave with Virginie, where they improved the details on the face for the eyes and the lips and eyebrows, etc. And I've put on a few bits on here. Head there comes off, and this scarf bit, this thing here I put on. So some parts you have to take off bits of the body to actually get some of the accessories on. So it is recommended that you do heat up the joints. So here you can see she's quite slim, very slim in fact. She's slimmer than Virginie in fact. She needs to have a bite or two. This mag can remove, which is a feature in a few of the guns. Here you got the bits. There's a pistol, tiny pistol, really small. Can fit in this hand or the other hand. Trigger fingers, be careful though. Very tiny there. But it works out. This holster you do plug into the figure. Same with this pouch on the right there. But very lovely looking figure. Nice details. I won't go through full articulation, but we'll go through a little bit here. See how that goes up there. This thin, stick-thin arm. So yeah, so you've got to be very careful. Bend there, 90. Old school hands here, where it goes left and right. And this one goes down and up. Gun articulation. Movement a little bit there as well. Again, really advised to heat these up. Jean-Claude! Oh, a little bit there that doesn't go up all the way. Good though. So that's your Planet Green Valley. Do like the way the hips work on these figures. They're done really well actually. Put it right up. Twist there as well at the thigh, and it's got a great bend there. It looks like it's pinned, but it's not. And there, the knee pad on there. Boot here goes down and up, and as you'll see with Virginia and some others, there is a boot twist, but not on this one. There is pivot though. So there are going to be differences between these figures and how they articulate, depending on which one design you get. But this line is very impressive, especially considering that it's really a one-man band doing this in his spare time, basically. They hold their guns quite well. She's probably the worst of the lot in terms of being able to hold a gun, and it's my least favourite of the four. But there are better basic figures out there, I'd say. Oh, this came off there. There you go. Let's look at that. Next to her, we have Virginie, who's actually the first Planet Green Valley figure I was able to acquire from BBTS, thanks to MG Bandit, who gave me the heads up they were available. Must have been a few people that had maybe cancelled their pre-orders, so I was able to get it for the retail at that time, which was at like, I think $35, which was a steal through BBTS. With this, of course, it does recommend you heat up the joints, as for this figure, though you will need to take off a few parts in order to get some of the accessories on her, so be very careful with that. But she is a really great figure. The base buck, I think, for her is one of the best, if not the best, female figure. It's really out of her and Boss Fight Studio female bucks that are the best out there. So where some will have accessories you will plug in, I think she's just got the one plug-in bit in the back, but the rest you just put on. I do love this breather mask on her. Nice movement with the head there. Really good. Even though there's no neck movement, there's good movement with the head. And I do like the way her eyes look as well. The alternate head is a really good head too for her. We'll keep this breather on her there. I like this little detail of this wire going around the back, which I'm not really sure where you're supposed to put. I just put it back there. I think it's supposed to go into that hole, but got it in there. See, a slim arm here is actually bigger than the basic figure one here. A basic figure one looks too slim, too thin. So the base buck underneath is probably the best representation of a sort of your normal slim female figure. See here, you've got to take the legs off to get these bits on, including these knee pads. See, so the knee pads you can actually remove, and she's got just normal knees underneath, which is, I think, the first I've seen in 1/18 scale. The basic figure's knees are stuck on the trousers, and she doesn't have a boot turn, where Virginie does here. And you can remove these boots as well. They have the full articulation. Even with these knee pads, you can bend the knees very well. But even better if you don't have the knee pads on. Great base buck though. That bends good as well. So like Boss Fight Studios do a great like athletic build for the female form, but this is just like a sort of normal average slim female buck, and it's really, really great. Without all this stuff, she has great articulation. But even with this stuff on, you can still get her into really good poses. She holds gun really well as well. With the movement of her head, you can just get that to look into the scope and do all sorts, really. So yeah, you can see that knee. Really great stuff. It seems like there's no, like, cuts on the knees or anything like that, like we've been getting from Joy Toy recently, which I hate. I hate those knobbly knees where there's cuts that you can see. But in terms of the look, and these are probably the most sort of realistic action figures you can get in 1/18 scale. The proportions, I think, are the closest to actual human anatomy. Like on Acid Rain and things, it's a bit exaggerated, and Joy Toy is quite good, but I think Planet Green Valley have got the most accurate to actual human anatomy. Before this more recent release, all the prior releases from Ouying Studios were female figures. There were prototypes of male figures and androids, etc. But of all the female releases, the Security Forces figure was my most wanted out of the lot, so I was quite happy that I was able to acquire one of them along with the basic figure after I got Virginie in 2021. Being one of the earlier releases, the unhelmeted head uses the old technology, so doesn't look as good as the more recent ones. But for me, the helmeted head was one of the draws of this figure. Let's look at that. I love the look of this. So it's a swappable head as opposed to a helmet that goes over. Got the little neckerchief thing there. Various ones you can use on this figure if you want. Loads of accessories on all these figures. This pouch here you have to attach to the top part of the armor. Removable mag on the gun. Plug in these bits. Very, very nice figure though. Boot twist. The feet are small as well. I like that for all the female figures. Really great looking. This thing on the back, I like that. Whatever it is, I don't know if it's the right way. Really great. More difficult to get hold of this one now, as it is an older one. And if you do find it, you'll probably find it for a lot more than what you pay for. Even PGV right now being quite expensive. Same pistol here, which you can use on this trigger hand. She got extra hands as well. Come in the package. Yeah, can dual wield if you like. Her color scheme and the way that tan armor goes over the black reminds me of the Joy Toy figure Mercenary K. But I think she is a lot better than that figure. And finally, we'll have a look at the latest figure from Ouying Studios and Planet Green Valley. Their robot or android one, which is actually listed as general figure on the packaging. The other version of it, which is a color variant, I think a slight difference to the body armor, is noted as a a sort of like named figure character, or has the picture at least on the actual packaging. This one doesn't. Don't know why. There's also extra heads and additional helmet as well, so you can swap the look if you don't like that kind of look of this android head, which is basically like a spaceship. So it's good to have these options as well. The human head is basically like the acid rain heads you get, where there's a balaclava, and then you can simply put the helmet over that balaclava head, which is a bit of a tight squeeze, but works just like with acid rain figures. Although this is an android or robot figure, it does share parts with the male buck, which is due for release in a couple of months, I think. But it does have the android parts like this head, those bits on the side that makes it look like a spaceship of sorts. This thing can be removed, plugs in nicely, and all these bits, like the Ginny, you slip them on. So certain parts you'll have to take off. This mag doesn't come out for this one. Not been able to take it off anyway myself. I like the way the wrists work here, the new style wrists. See, so these can go anywhere. But as it's an android, those parts actually look okay for it. Jean-Claude. Lack of security. There's a twist. There. I like the way the hips work for these Planet Green Valley figures. They work really well. The bend here is great as well, using these android legs at the bottom part. It goes down a lot. Even up there. Look at that. There's also a toe. Look at that. So be careful. Make sure if you're moving it here, pivot, just move it there, as opposed to using the toe bit. He feels better than the others. Just slightly. Again, it's still worth heating up, although I haven't heated up my figures, but just be careful. The others definitely need to heat up. Him, yeah, and not so. He's not so bad. This arm for me is a little bit stiff. There's a bit of a, don't know, chink there or whatever it is. The holster was able to get through without removing the foot, but I wouldn't recommend it. Unlike Joy Toy and Acid Rain, with all these figures, you have to put the armor and all the bits onto the figure, which can seem a bit daunting at first, but once you figure out how to do it, it's actually pretty easy. Again, as long as you do heat up your joints, then there's no risk of breaking anything. But well worth the effort. And once you got everything on, everything just looks so awesome. The armor bits for the arms, you could actually just slip through the hands, so no need to remove the hands. Well, I didn't have to anyway, so they actually just slid on and just stay at the top there. So, more of these figures will be coming, and these are great to go into your other 118 figures. But let's have a look and see how they look against like a Joy Toy and a Acid Rain figure. The Planet Green Valley figures are just a bit taller than some Joy Toy and Acid Rain figures. Although Steiner here on the far right from Joy Toy and Jack from Acid Rain on the far left are on the smaller side of the figures from those lines. But I chose these two as I feel that they actually go well with the Planet Green Valley aesthetic here. Out of the four I've got, this one is my favourite design. as I like that helmet and all the other bits. How she looks all together, I think works really well for me. Kind of looks like she goes with Steiner and Jack. So it's really kind of that look that I like. But the others have got really great things about them too. Basic Figure's probably, yeah, my least favourite of the lot. But she can hold her gun really well, even though she's got the pouches and stuff in front of her. Literally have it aimed up like that. Look at that. She looks great. But there is quite a bit on those pouches there. This new one is really great as well. Makes me look forward to what we'll get with the male buck. Joints, particularly on the legs, work better. This arm here is a bit dodgy for me. I think I'll have to heat that up. At least it doesn't feel like it's going to snap or anything, but so that's a good thing. You can hold his gun. The head moves really well. There's a lot of movement on this particular head with this body. The way the wrist design there works well as he's an android, so he can get away with that. Yeah, his head, I can, you know, you either like or don't. It definitely looks like it could be a vehicle of some sort. It could just fly away from his head. Maybe you can. You know, in your cannon, you could probably have it as like a drone that can lift off from his head and fly off away somewhere. Yeah, great looking figure. Virginie remains the most impressive base buck, so remove all the armor bits and all of that, and just a fun little figure to pose around without all this stuff on. But very impressed that you have to slide on the parts, and it reminds me again of the Joy Toy stuff, just putting all the armor bits on yourself. But even with the knee pads too, which are very impressive, work really well, and you could still bend quite a bit with those knee pads on. Right, so let's get this breather off and we'll compare with Steiner and Jack. She looks alright with both of these. Her head is slightly bigger than Steiner's. Jack's face is a bit smaller. So if you want to get your own, the female figures you can't really get in many places at the moment, but the new figures are available now on BBTS. I think the robot android ones have been sold out. The pre-order is sold out now for that, but the male figures are now up on pre-order at the time recording this video. They're not cheap, but if it is something you're into, I would definitely look into grabbing one. A lot of people say that this is the best 1/18 scale action figure line you can get, and I wouldn't disagree. I think that it is on par with your Joy Toy and Toys Alliance with Acid Rain Annex 2179. They're really great, and it's really impressive what Wei has been able to do with these figures and just doing them himself. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, like. For more content, subscribe, and I'll skell you later.